Yes, definitely.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the plant-powered people of Arizona. We just completed our 258th consecutive raw potluck. We're activists and we do like to eat plant-based whole foods. And tonight we're very fortunate to have with us one of our plant-powered people of Arizona, Rhonda Beyreis. Now, Rhonda and her husband have done something very unique. They have a 680 acre ranch near Concho, Arizona. If you're not familiar with Arizona geography, that's up in the northeast of excuse me, of Arizona. And two of our members had the privilege to go to the ranch in July for their inaugural Art of Sustainability. And we've entitled this Preparing for the New Normal. So if anybody out there thinks that the new normal is going to be like the old normal, well, maybe you don't need to watch this. But anyway, Rhonda is, I think you're going to find it a very interesting talk. So Rhonda, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come, Tom. I just love the Raw Potluck. It's really awesome to be a part of your project, and I'm excited to be here. Through this with me, it'll start to jog your memory on what time it is, because we are in we are preparing for the new normal. There is no going backwards. They're letting us know that all through the talks that we hear on TV and different things, people are hoping to go back to where we were, but how can you go backwards when we continue to move forward? Sustainability individual situation, because all of us are different, we're living different lives, we have different things going on. But when you look at the definition, it is a meeting of the needs of presenting without the compromise of the ability of the future generations. We know that the things that are going on now are going to affect our future generation. It has three main pillars: economic, and we're going to be locked down. We have no idea. We can look across the pond and see different things going on in different countries, which are affecting the mentality of this country. So everybody's living in a different situation. Letting go is hard, but being free is beautiful. When you look at your life and what's got you clocked in here, we're in the very last part of being able to switch hats. When I say that, we can look at the economic situation going on in California, how people are leaving there by the drones. Phoenix is growing like crazy. They're building everywhere. If you really wanted to get out of the city and sell your stuff, you really could. And what's really interesting is that we purchased our property in 2011 because we knew this was coming down the pipeline. We've been preparing for it for a very long time. Well, now we're at the crunch. It's crunch and go time. Everybody is looking to see that things are different, wanting to get out of the city, maybe make a decision of something different. It's clogging in here. When I drove into the city, I was in tears. I'm like, there's so much in the matrix people just aren't seeing because they're in it. They don't see it. It's like, get out of the situation and go back and look in. You'll see something completely different. The everyday life is everyday life. So letting go is hard, but being free is beautiful. Trust me, it really is. Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. I have been involved in different businesses. I've been involved in network marketing. I've been involved with my own chef business, all sorts of different businesses. And we chase and we want to be bigger and better and do things. But the more that we're pushing, everything still is going on around us. So we have to take a good look at your life. What really are you preparing for? You know, if you think it's business as usual, people are being bigger and better, and it just seems to be spinning and spinning and spinning. We get so wrapped in it that it's hard to get away from it. And so that should be very thought processing to you. Again, we're going to look at all the different things that have been going on for a long time. A long time. This isn't anything new here. Now we're at the vaccine revolution here in Time Magazine. But you look at SARS in 2003, we've had the bird flu, death threat. There's the H1N1. This is no new thing here. It's just that they kind of flipped this one. Things have changed in the way they're presenting things to us, and they're creating something in us that is a little different than any of these other ones. And if you look at the bird flu or something, it's like we always look at it being over there, but not over here. Now all of a sudden is everything is here, but it's also over there. So we're in a global situation. The system is collapsing. Medical is collapsing. We can see land is collapsing. Food is getting really scarce. Even though you live in the city, it looks so plentiful here because they don't want to get you in an alarm situation. But when you get out and you start seeing different things, you see a little different. But they started out with toilet paper. Let's take a look at toilet paper and how that affected the American people, right? Toilet paper was something that they were fighting over and beating each other with it. You couldn't hurt each other with toilet paper. Could you imagine if it was a turkey or canned goods or something, what people would do to each other? So they took it to a level of toilet paper. People hoarded it. People, that's all they could think about it was get to the store. We got to get toilet paper. We got to get it. Then they started taking everything away from you. Now you're limited. You can only have this much of it. Now we're going to program, maybe you could do this as well. So they started changing the dynamics of everything going on, and our minds are accepting all of this stuff, but are we really seeing what they're really doing to us? Money is going to change in something. We know that Bitcoin and all that stuff is coming on the platform. I believe the system has their own coin. If you're really paying attention, you would really believe that as well. Rio de Janeiro was a country in Africa. Let's take history. History is repeating itself in a very magnificent global level now instead of just little mind bites. Rio de Janeiro was a country in Africa that had diamonds. It was very rich. It was very wealthy. The people went to sleep. They had bank accounts. They woke up, and it was Zimbabwe, and they didn't have money anymore. Everything was shut down. They changed everything overnight. If they can do that in Africa, back, I think it was in the 60s, what do you think with the mindset now and all the technology and things that are going on, what they will do to us overnight? We always hear about a collapse. The media is telling us there's going to be a collapse. There's going to be a cyber thing. They're constantly telling us everything that's going on already. So we should be, pretty much desensitized to what happens to us. But something really weird is going on with the money. So water is another thing that we need to have. So I have a couple of wells where I'm at. My wells are documented somewhat, but now they want to come in and put meters on wells, and they want to come in and do stuff to your wells because they want to control the water. Things are changing out there, so it can be kind of like in here. And so it's just the dynamics are really flipping, and people really just are accepting what's going on, not really paying attention, but there's something going on under the scenes, and it's called, we're not going to be in control of anything because we're going to own nothing and we're all going to be happy. We've heard that over and over and over again. So my thing is get off the grid. Seeds are something that, in my opinion, that's more valuable than any of that. Why? Seeds are more valuable than silver to me. Seeds are more valuable than gold to me. In the Trail of Tears, when the natives went across and they were being taken, their land was being taken away, they sewed the seeds inside the women's garments so that they would have them. And when the women died, they would rip the clothes off and keep walking. That's how valuable those seeds are, because you can grind a seed. Back in Bible days, they took the seed, they ground it, they made cakes, and they were satisfied. Here, we're so used to having everything processed and pre-done and whatever. It's just insane. Nobody's ever thinking about seeds. I can eat a seed and survive. I can't eat a bullion of gold, and I can't eat silver and survive. Makes sense? You just can't. So seeds are very valuable. Seed banks are disappearing. I believe Mr. Gates is actually buying up seed banks as fast as he can. Mom and pops are getting torn apart. And so when you have your actual growers of all the food, now they're tilling it back in because they're being forced to get rid of the food, and they're being forced. That's the seed bank going back into the earth, because if that food goes to seed, then you have more seeds. But if they're forcing you to put it underneath the ground and you can't harvest your own crops because that's what they've done, where's your seeds? They're non-existent. They're disappearing. So seeds have more value. Now let's look at the crude oil. This was put out there by someone I know. This crude oil here, look at the date here. It's still rising. What happened with the crude oil and everything at the time that school gets out? School gets out, gas goes up. Is that right? Price of gas goes up because everybody's traveling, kids are out, people are doing stuff more with family and whatever. They're going on trips and vacation. It usually goes back down. Well, guess what happened? It's not going down, it's going back up. We're in more inflation than anything. So gas is going to become an issue as well. The more that we can see all of our necessities are disappearing, and they are controlling more and more of everything that we have. So it's just very important that we pay attention to everything going on. That your crude oil, your gold, your silver, your euros, all these things are changing right before our eyes. Many people now in in the United States are on medical Social Security, right? I can be on Social Security medical because they're going to take care of me, and I'm going to claim this and claim that and do this and do that. I'm on meds and I can get the Social Security. And then people that have worked all their lives for Social Security are getting their Social Security, but we're never going to get Social Security. Are you kidding me? That's all going to disappear because the dollar's going to crumble. What's going to happen to people? What are you doing today to prepare for tomorrow? Because there's no ever guarantee in this. This is something that was set up a long time ago, and the clocks and times have changed over and over again, and people are worried, are we even going to get it? And what is happening with inflation is rising, but is your Social Security rising? How many people's parents are living on $1,200 a month? Can you honestly live on that? What are you living in? What are you eating? What are you doing? That Social Security is supposed to be there to help people, and it seems like it's really tearing people down. So I want to read this to you. Light and dark, good and evil, right and wrong is not won by sitting on the sidelines. I'm a Canadian citizen, so I could never rally up or sign something or do anything because it's illegal for me to do that. But I hear a lot of people saying, well, they should do something about what's going on, but everybody talks about it, but we really don't see that. If this was going on in the 70s, people were completely different back then. You know, they stood up, they did stuff differently. Just love and light. It's not just good vibes, rainbows, and all that. We are against the darkest and most evil energy in the universe. Using the voice, we need to use our voices and rise up. Shine your light. Each one of us can do something different to make a difference for our families, for our neighbors, for our kids, whatever, to help somebody out. When you look at your life means something. You are important. You were put here to make a difference. And if you look at yourself, that we are living in Earth's history today, we were chosen and handpicked to live now. We're not in the 20s, we're not in the 50s, we're not in the 60s. Some of us have lived during that time. But here we are in this time in Earth's history. It's pretty spectacular, the things that we're witnessing. Who would have ever thought that we would witness what's going on? I would have never thought that. You know, it's just crazy what's happening. So stand up. If I understand how scary it can be, but you know what is scarier is living in a world that is controlled by beings that are worshiping Satan and that are trying to enslave you. We have to wake up before it's too late. If you don't do something, you just give in and do nothing. You become part of what's going on. And it's okay if that's what you want to do, but there's somebody that we can do to help or be our brother's keeper or help somebody else out. And if you haven't even helped yourself out to figure out where you're going, how are you going to do that for somebody? And when I think about that, I look at gated communities, I look at the city. The city is encircled. And maybe you're not paying attention, but all those new highways that go around, back in Bible days, they encircled the city. And that's happened to Phoenix. Phoenix is completely encircled around now and it's closed. They went over on the Ahwatukee side and took their land in what do you call that, where they take your land and say, we're going to put a freeway here. They did that in eminent domain or something like that. Yeah, so they did that. And so they went in and they took the freeway, and now it completely circles the city. Well, in Bible days, it says, well, the Bible says if you see the armies encircling the city, you need to get out. It says that. If you don't read the word, that's okay, but it does say that. Now I've seen everything encapsulated. So now you're in the concrete jungle. Are you going to get out? And how are you going to get out? We're going to talk about that a little later. So here we are. We were born into the system, and many realized from taking a look around, this is an artificial system. Do you not see that? It's like the money is the air. We're looking on credit cards. We've got Bitcoin. Everything's in the air. Nothing is back in the day where you bartered and traded. I have a chicken and I'll trade you for some flour. These are tangible things that we're moving back and forth. That was back in the day. Now it's like I have air and I can take my air and get something, but it's going to bite me down the road. Because anybody that's in debt, if you have something going on and this money crashes, you're going to lose what you have because that's part of the artificial system. They need to control you. So this individual who everybody gave homage to, that came across the ocean and did her thing, she attacked the youth. She rallied the youth. They want the kids, so she rallied your children to come on board with, you adults here are not giving in to what we need. We need you to stop the threat for humanity that we've ever faced, is that global climate. So we're going to have the youth rally up. Well, who comes next on the platform after we're gone? It's that next generation, right? So if we can get that next generation coming in and taking over, then guess what? These people are coming stronger. It's like our generation's sleepy. But the younger kids are now rallying against climate change. Do you see that? She came in out of nowhere, and the whole world paid attention to this girl. They took a child and let a child do it, which to me is just fascinating. So here we are, the art of confusion. G has stood up and done all the stuff that he's done, which has been completely unbelievable. He flips and flops and does things that are a little different. And one day, in my opinion, people that are standing up now are going to be standing down one day, and then what's going to happen to them? Think about that. You see it, a lot of different things happening to people that have stood up and hurt the human people. This guy is the art of confusion, bringing on false evidence, appearing to be real. This stuff is coming out. They've got us so confused. We're so confused on what we're doing that we don't know if what we're doing is right, because we don't know which way to turn. That is part of the MO, in my opinion. So who's behind all that? I would say it's these people here. I love this. Let's see what makes you scarier than all the other variants. It's these people. They're the ones that are doing it, and everybody's sitting here. How many people that you know that have nothing to do because they're home, they're listening to this all day long and getting more afraid because they don't know what to do? So here we are, glued to the tell you vision, telling you what to do and what's happening, that nobody's making any decisions. And so all this stuff is happening before our very eyes. I mean, I've watched, the elderly are so afraid to get out of their home because all they do all day is sit and watch TV. You know, they're programmed to be feared, and it's like, we got to get outside in some fresh air, sunshine, get some exercise. We can't sit in that. So all the nations are deceived. It's not just America. It's not just Canada. It's not just Africa. It's everyone. The fear is beyond rampant. When I go out and I see people muzzled to death, and it's like you're outside in the sunshine, it's 120 degrees outside, and you're breathing your own stuff. What are you doing? And that's coming back to where, again, here we go again. One more time. We did it just a little bit. We let you free again. Now we're going to do it again because now we've got the other variants coming on the pipeline, and we're going to do it again. It seems like they dangle it, they pull it away, they dangle it, they pull it away, and then they enforce it. And this is what's coming to everyone. So here we have these situations that are now taking over. And so when you can't buy and you can't sell, somebody told me that they went into a restaurant and they wouldn't let them in. They wouldn't even give them takeout because they didn't have a piece of this paper here, which to me is like, okay, so it's kind of like living back in the German days, right? History is repeating itself on another level that is unbelievable, and people are letting it happen. So this ought to really jog your memory. Here is 1921. We have a segregation between blacks and white. 2021, we got a segregation between vaccinated and unvaccinated. Is history repeating itself? It really is. It is repeating itself, just on a different level. History always repeats itself. So I want to just talk about some of the things that are going to happen in the future. The future is going to come on with some more types of 4G, 5G, whatever, and I just want to say it that way, but it's a type of radiation that's going to affect the body. 1G is your voice. 2G is your radio. 3G was your pager. Remember the pagers? 4G was your telephone. 3 and 4 were telephone. 5 is coming on the pipeline. They used your telephone and social media to push it forward, but it has actually been deemed as military weaponry. So when they're pushing that, you better push back, because that's going to take you to somewhere you don't want to deal with. But these symptoms here are kind of like the same symptoms here, which should just alarm you just a little bit. Because when they're pushing this, they're pushing this, and they're pushing this, we don't really know which one it is. So I just want you to just take a good look at that. You might want to take a snapshot of that, because this is going to tell a story in this town very soon. Very soon. My husband works for, we have our own company of large equipment. And with the equipment, they have been pushing this for a long time. When this hit, they couldn't get the wiring, or this town would have already been lit up. And this is the #1 town to be lit up in the United States. Just so you know, it's a melting pot of many, many people. It's one of the 9 test states in the United States, and this town is going to be one of those things where they're practicing. I went to Flagstaff 2 weeks ago, and one of the things they have going, they probably have it here at ASU, they've got these little drone carts delivering stuff everywhere. You can't, they're just at every stoplight, and these things are going all over the city. And that should alarm you as well. Stay home, we'll bring it to you. You don't need to go out. So one of the things for this one here is you can wear something like this. And I wear this. This is a 5G blocker so that I'm protected when I'm in the city. If I go into any town, I make sure I wear one. I know, Krista, I think you wear one, a 5G blocker, a pendant, something. It's just good business to get one anyway. What if it does work? That's the way I look at it. My friend created this actual one. He's a physicist, and he built stuff because his daughter was autistic and it was helping her, and he expanded on it. And this has 60,000 carbon fiber things in it to protect me, and I wear it by my heart. And this, I would like for you to take a picture of this, because the CVD, that's what I'm going to say it is. This is actually something that from a Dr. McClellan that will actually help you. This will help you. It will help your family. It will share with you something where you can do nutraceuticals and help yourself, because it's this that helped me when I had that. Okay, I had that. And this is what helped me. We hit it early in and got rid of it. So in a way that was a little different. A lot of people are not doing nutraceuticals. They're just thinking, oh, you know, I got it. This is very important, because you can look here and see this is HCQ, that's hydrochloroquine. This is the ivermectin, what they tell you, no, no, no. These are all your zithromycin, doxycycline. You've got here your zinc. You've got vitamin D. See how high these are? Vitamin C, see how high this is? Quercetin. All those things are very important to even build your immune system anyway. So this actual they've used this, these doctors have used this, and they've done wonders with this. So I just want to share that with you, because it's important to always have those things on hand. One day you're not going to be able to get these things on hand, so it might behoove you to go ahead and get them now so that you have something stocked for yourself. If you keep them busy with their basic needs, just give me food, I don't care, give me my Social Security check, they will forget about their freedom that they lost. Is that real? That's happening today. Just we're going to give you a check. You can stay home. You don't have to do nothing. Up where I live, they can't even put people in the stores. The stores are closing early because there's no people to work. Nobody has to work anymore because they're giving something and they're sitting around doing nothing. They're getting caught up in the matrix and they don't understand it. They just think they're taking the system for advantage and getting away with something. There's never something for nothing. Whatever happened to we the people? So we're losing our freedoms. We the people's going right out the window, and it's them against us. And it should not be that way, because we pay their wages, right? Food is medicine. Immune systems are real. We have the immune system. Oxygen is essential. The cities are tainted with all sorts of garbage. Out in the fresh air is a whole different atmosphere. Unbelievable in this. We do not heal in isolation. We are social beings. We need each other. Being all by yourself is unhealthy. People go nutty. It's very unhealthy. We need to be around people. We were created that way. Germs are part of us, not against us. How many people are over germifying them? Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. And it's like, your body needs those germs. That keeps us going. We're over germifying everything. It's crazy. Complacency really is a trap. You just agree to everything, you're going to get caught up. So you've got to stand up for yourself and do something for yourself so that you can be part of the solution and not freaking out as part of the problem when it all falls apart. Today's the day you should be invested in something for you. We need community. We are community. We need our community. We also need our family. So many people are discarding family, or they don't want to go back to their family or whatever. We all grew up together with our family people, and we need to get back to our tribe. Family might not be people that you grew up with, but you need to be with somebody, because by yourself you're a sitting duck, because you'll never make it. You'll never make it alone. You need to be with people, and you need to be with like-minded people, people that are on the same journey, people that believe in what you believe in, and people that you can count on and you can work together, because it's really, really important. So for me, the book is where I get a lot of my stuff. The Bible, whether you are or aren't, I just give you my spin on it, tells me to get out of the city. When you see the armies encamping around and it becomes a circle, it's time to get out of the city. Why? Because it's going to become dangerous. You're going to be locked in. Nobody wants to be locked in. Always telling you to get out of the city. Get out of the city, get out of the city, get out of the city. People are entertained by danger. Don't they just love it, right? We're loving all those things going on. And so we've been programmed now. If you look at the 20, 35-ish year olds, I can say that Mario Brothers was the thing back in the day when my son was little. And they learned how to take a big hammer and beat somebody on the head. Seems pretty harmless, right? Oh, get that and beat that and get to the next level and do that. But then it changed. It changed into the kids becoming killing machines. Now it does nothing for them to kill somebody on a social media platform where they're gaming. Gaming is very mind taking over. It's very controlling. And people that are young that now are in their 30s think nothing about killing somebody. There's no value in life because life has changed. So this entertainment here where people are just like, they're all got their cell phones. Well, check it out. Let's take a picture. What are you gonna do with that picture, right? But it's like, wow, you know, and it's like people are enjoying this. And then when you look at all the things that have been going down the pipeline forever, you can go back to the very first Olympic Games, you can go back to the games in Rome, you can go back to now we've got ninja warriors and all those things where people are rallying against each other. It's going to turn into something very interesting, in my opinion, how it's going to all come out. So this, I drove by this guy on the way from my land, and I drove by and I'm like, that was pretty profound. I drove back and I snapped his picture. So when I talk about now's the time to sell your home and to get out and figure out how you're going to do it, this right here tells a huge story. This is now their home. This is their toilet. See it? This is their storage. Their car's back here. But these people have taken the time to get out of the matrix, to get out of it. And it doesn't take much. If you're trying to get out of here, now's the time to sell your house and have a pot of money to go and figure it out and start working with the realtor, right, Krista? Working with the realtor, trying to figure out what you're going to do, but you've got to make the moves because one day you're not going to get gas. You're not going to be able to drive out of here. It's not going to be available. Gas is going up, 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 up. And the land by where I live is disappearing faster than you can shake a stick at. Everything's going away and people are just droning out. It's crazy. So no farm, no food. No farm, no food. This person can figure out how to make a plot right here, maybe make a little garden or whatever. Gardening, you want real organic food? Grow it yourself. Because just because it says it's organic, to me doesn't really mean that much, because I worked in a groves where we had one field that was deemed organic out of all of our groves, and they ran everything organic. So when you think you're buying organic, there's not enough organic police to tell you whether you are or you're not, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I do know for a fact that we ran all that citrus organic, and it wasn't. So just letting you know that there's not enough police that can get away with it. You want it? Grow it yourself. So no farms, no food. This right here is what's happening all over. That tells a story. Who's going to help this person? And look at her carts full of processed stuff, but all the other stuff is gone. Or it's not available because they're tearing it and putting it under the ground because it's just not there. Food is becoming a commodity that's going to be disappearing. And you know what's really amazing? Vegan people. We have watched the system create so much fake chemical food that is unbelievable. So not only are they giving it to the public now in fast food, because they can't tell the difference, they just think they're eating what they're eating, but now it's growing so much that if you've never seen the movie Soylent Green, I would go back and watch that movie, because it started in 2022 is when the gauntlet started. And we are heading to that, but guess what? It tells you the whole lineage of everything going on, and everything was great, and then it all changed into some kind of weirdness. And you know what? We are in the middle of the chemical food right now. They're taking away all the animals. The elite will have it. The elite will have everything. Everybody else will have this weird food. And it's happening right now. So we need to start growing. We need to get in our communities. We need to work together. No man left behind. We need to find out how to do it. Even if you did it in the city here with the CSA and get a bot or find one that's going on and get part of that, because it's important that you understand that the healing part of the dirt heals your soul, and it teaches you something completely different than what you get just from buying stuff from the store. It's completely different for you. So let's talk about getting out of here. Stephanie, can you come here? So you might, I'm going to, Tom. Okay, you're going to be my model. I choose you. So this is a backpack. Hold on one second. It's got a back brace on it. It's got a waist for your stuff so the weight's off of you. And then it's got a lot of different things. And I want you to put this on. I just wanted you to help. I figured you're about my size. That's why I chose you. Okay, so let's. Perfect. Okay, we're going to stand here for a minute. Is that all right? How's that feel? Good. Good? Okay, go ahead and snap it. The reason I'm having her put this, she's about my size, so it works. But this is a backpack that I have. And how does that feel? Good. Where's the weight? On your waist, right? Yeah. Okay, so when they talk about having a kind of a backpack to put stuff in, to maybe if you have to flee or whatever, a duffel bag's going to wear your arms out. A regular backpack's going to flop on your back, and it's going to really make you hurt. But this one here, as you can turn sideways, you can see that it's got the waist here. The weight is on the hips, opposed to on your back and your shoulders. What she's got going on here in the front is that it's also pulling this together, so the weight's here, so it's not hurting her back. So if you fill this up, you're going to be able to fill it up and have the weight adjust where it needs to go. And it's got a lot of compartments. So on this backpack, it's got different things to hook and rehook. You can fill it, pull this over. It snaps and hooks to where you can pretty much secure everything that you need. You can get stuff like this at REI or whatever, and it's not going anywhere. It's quite good. If she had to run, she wouldn't be hurting herself. Does that make sense? Oh, you're really going. Thank you. It does. It's really, it disperses everything the way you need it to be. So if you're going to get something, first of all, I'm going to recommend that you get something. And you get something that has a back brace, because if you, when you, or if it happens, you need to be able to do it the way that's going to be the best benefit to your body, so that you're not breaking down and you can't move any farther. Thank you. Bravo, our little model. Okay, thank you. So I have a lot of different things to share with you, and I've got my little table here, which is great, but we're going to talk more about this. Oh, I lost my little clicker. Here it is. On this screen here, there are different things that you can put in your pack, but to have the best lightweight stuff you can do, you want to make sure that it's not really heavy, because you're going to add more to your pack, and that pack is eventually going to get heavy. So here we have a sleeping bag. There's a tent here. If you didn't want to put a little tiny backpack tent in there, you can actually use a tarp, do a lean-to. I've done that. In my pack, I have a tarp, because a tarp can be so multi-purpose that it's unbelievable. And then a pad. I don't need a pad, but some people are really bad hips or whatever. A pad would be very beneficial to them. Water is always a necessity. So if we're in the desert, right? If you had to leave on foot with the backpack, being able to get into a cactus would be one of your best things going, because the cactus is full of water. You just don't see it. So if you were to cut a hole in it and put a straw in it, you actually would find water inside a cactus. But having some kind of filtration system would be really great, that you could put stuff in it would filter the water. I actually have a straw. I forgot to bring it. It's a straw that you can just lean in and drink right out of the thing. It gets rid of 99%. it's called a filter straw, and I would recommend it. It's this long and it's really tiny and it's very light and it works for quite a while. But having good water, it's nice to have something steel here in case you had to boil water. You could actually do that and take the lid off of it, which would be an easy boiling water situation. Fire is a really necessity when you're out there in the elements. You must keep warm. You must have fire to help get rid of predators. It can use it for, like, here I am, I'm lost, whatever. But I want to share with you, like, my little bag of tricks here. This is actually something we throw away all the time. This is dryer lint and a toilet paper roll. You can take the dryer lint and put it inside the toilet paper roll and have a fire starter. We throw this away all the time. Well, I can't afford a backpack, I can't do nothing, whatever. But you have this every time and you toss it. You really can start gathering things that are inexpensive and cheap. So this makes a great fire starter. I did a Facebook Live and I blew one of these up. People were like, wow, what was that? So that's really good to have it. You can buy these little flint starters, you know, at the little stores, and they're not much. I mean, I picked a bunch of these up for $5 or $2 a pop, you know, just to have it around. You don't know, but you will use it one day. And getting a Bic lighter is really important. Lighters are pretty cheap right now, but what happens when they're all gone? You know, they don't lose their stuff if you don't use them in the package. They're just there. Start getting some of these things. Now, all of this stuff, you're going to look at that spam and go, who would eat that? You might not eat that, but you know what? Somebody will eat that. That's good barter and trade. When they take the meat away from the people, they're going to be looking for stuff like that. So this is good barter and trade. In my barter and trade stuff, I have beef jerky. Why? Because people will do anything for that when they can't get meat. I can barter and trade that all day long, and it's light. Who cares if it dries out? They'll still eat it. I don't care. The Cliff Bars or these things are easy to put in a backpack, give you nutrition, whatever. Peanut butter. I laugh because I picked up this peanut butter here. I'll show you this, and we'll get to this later. This is the powdered peanut butter, okay? Do you realize that peanut butter, if it's not opened, it doesn't really go bad until you open it? Do you know that? So you can store it, doesn't go anywhere, but the minute you open it, then it starts to oxidize and the oils change, and so then it will go bad. But we're going to go out and buy this. I bought this on purpose, not like I had to go buy it, because it's one of those things that we think is going to be better. But, you know, all that's in this is peanuts, ground up, salt. Hello. Peanuts and salt. And this was very expensive. There's one other ingredient in here. Sugar. Peanuts, salt, and sugar. $18. So, huh? It is 2 pounds. 2 pounds. Yeah. But, and once you open it, it only lasts 5 years. So it has a shelf life as well. Okay. So these are really great to have, especially for fast natural foods that you can run in. If you're in it's light, dehydrated foods are great. So we need to have our first aid kit here. And I'm going to talk to you about some different first aid stuff, what's not in there. Hydrotherapy is really good. Who knows how to do hydrotherapy? Anybody? Anybody know what that is? Hot and cold, doing compresses, doing stuff in the chest, whatever. Wool fabric is disappearing. Good luck trying to find wool. You just can't really find much wool anymore. This is a piece of wool. It's my aunt. She's 85. It's a blanket that she has. And so I cut it up to make stuff for fomentations and hydrotherapy, because I can use this in several different ways, whether to keep somebody warm, heat it up, put it down with cotton like this, and if you had saran wrap or whatever, you could take these things and help people with colds or whatever to help them healing medicinally without having to go to the doctor. Different things like this are so important in your pack, and they're really light. It's just good to have it. And so finding any type of wool would be to your advantage, because even though I live out in the wilderness, I'm going to have to run myself. It's only for a minute, because they don't want us to be in the wilderness. Does that make sense to you? Because we're all going to be somewhat on foot going somewhere. That's why a tribe is so important, so you're not by yourself. And for me, it's important to have the things that I need. Like this right here, I went to a survival camp for a week, and this is something that we made. It's just an oak coffee can, and then we had a stick like this, and this is what we cooked oatmeal in the fire. This is so light, didn't cost nothing. This is an old can. You put a wire on it. You know, you could afford that. People throw this stuff away all day long. You can make your deal, burn it, get all the stuff off of it, and then you've got just your metal, and you can use that. And then the stick itself, this is the one that I don't, this is not the one that I used during that camp, but it should have a notch on it so that when you hold it into the fire, you can put it in and pull it out, because that notch will hold that wire. And then the other side of this should have a point on it, so that when you're using it for the restroom, you can dig a hole. It'd be a digging stick, and you cover it up. Does that make sense? I mean, there's things that we're going to have to do things that is going to be a little different. I'm staying in a hotel. I came from my place, and I'm in a hotel, and these were the things that were in the bathroom. Well, I bring my own stuff, right? We always get all this stuff. I've been collecting this forever. This is your soaps and your shampoos and your conditioner and lotion, because one day, in my opinion, I will be helping people that come through and that the Lord brings to us, and will help and serve them, that I want to be able to give people what they need. So these to me are very valuable. You'll find these at thrift stores in the bag section where they got all the bag weird stuff, little bars of soaps and these. I would suggest buying them, because you don't know who you're going to be around, whether your own family or friends and stuff that have nothing. These are going to be very valuable one day, and people discard them all day long. I constantly are collecting them. This is a wrap for my horses, and I use this as well. So this is part of my medicinal stuff that I have. You know, the stuff you go and you give blood, and then they wrap your arm around it. Well, this is just a bigger version of it that I use on my horse's legs. And this is something else I use as well. There's a lot of things that you can use. We've got splints, and we've got cotton, and we've got a mask. You know, there's all sorts of stuff we can have. Hygiene is really important. We need, oh, do you have a question? Oh, okay. Hygiene is really, really important, because we need to be clean, or you're going to inhibit disease. And so just the little things, you can start going to your little store and buy these little sample deals and have them, so that you have that. Fill your pack up and get stuff ready, but also make sure that you can help somebody else out. Maybe you've got kids and they're not paying attention. I've got a son that's 32 years old, and he just thinks the world's going back to the way it was before, and it's all going to be tickety-boo. Well, it's not. And so I've prepared for him as well. You know, you just never know who's going to come into your path. This is desert clothing that I picked up. This information here. Not that we need a mask, but it gets dusty and dirty and whatever, and we want to be able to cover our face and not breathe all that stuff in if we're fleeing in the desert. Light cargo pants, you know, they're shorts and then they're pants. A good pair of boots are very important. You need good walking shoes, because I just laugh at everybody. I can imagine getting caught up and then being in high heels and a miniskirt. You know, how you can do anything in that, and then all of a sudden that's what you got, right? Oh my gosh, that would be awful. But then you've got your backpack. You can see that he's got the waist pack, just in case, you know, keep that distribution the way it should be. The hat is we see these at Costco, right? The hat with the double brim, with the thing on it to protect your neck and everything. Important stuff. I mean, it's like, well, who would have that hat? Well, we live in the desert. We should have that kind of hat to protect us. You just never know. Sunglasses are important. Your eyeglasses are important. Any medication that you take, whatever it is, that stuff's important. You need to have some of that set aside, so that when it's time, you can start rotating your stuff, but you need to have that stuff if you don't know. Here's some extra tools that are really good, like the Leatherman. I have my knife here that I use to do whittling and stuff. This is my survival knife that I have in my pack that I use. I can put it on my clothes if I want to, whatever. This is a spoon that we made in our survival thing. And what we did is we took this piece of wood and we kind of cut it, or took a pen and marked it. And then we made a spoon out of a piece of wood by taking some fire and putting it in there and letting it burn. And then we took our knives and we whittled it out, made our own spoon. Feel how light that is. Oh, I hit her in the head. Sorry, pass it around. It's really light, right? There's nothing to it. He's like, yeah, it didn't knock me out. Sorry. You pass that around. It's really light, but it's really sturdy. And then we took another piece of wood and we made a fork, but the fork didn't come out so good. But these are the things that you're going to learn to do, and it's important. So other things is to have this paracord, which is really nice. This I bought from some kids that were selling it at a little camp. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's a lot of paracord in there, because they made this little design out of it for a keychain. But this is important so that you have something to string along anywhere that you need. You can use it as a keychain or whatever. There's just so many different things that you can use, acquire, guide. A saw like this would be really good. It folds up so that if you're having to saw wood or do something with a saw, you're not ruining your knife, you're not breaking your knife, you're not losing stuff because it's not the right tool. But this can be the right tool because it's light, it's easy, it folds up, and it won't cut you when it's in your pack. And then we've got our lethal and not so lethal deterrents. Some people are against the guns, which is fine, but maybe get some heavy duty pepper spray and bear spray in case you have come across some people. I mean, there's different things that you can get to protect yourself because in crisis, and so if you need to do something, maybe you don't want to carry a gun, guns are intimidating or whatever, maybe you want to carry one of these. I just got one of these. I just got fitted for it. I just got everything for it, and I'm practicing because you know what? I can get ammo for that. I can protect myself with that. If I had to shoot an animal, I could do that. You know, it's going to take a little more practice. I just got mine, and I'm working on it. But I've got my little pull here, and I've got my arrows and the whole thing, and it's really easy to do. Once you get fitted for it, and they do your pull, and it's to your strength, it's a no-brainer. But if you go get somebody else's tool and you're trying to do it and it doesn't work, and I don't want to, it wasn't set up for you. So getting it set up for yourself and having that and practicing that, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a lot of fun to do that. And so one of the things that we need to be prepared for is to have something like this. So I have this box right here. It's a metal box. And actually, it's a cash drawer, so I can use it when I have events, whatever. But I also put all of my documents and stuff in there and lock it up. The other thing I have is this one here. This is also, and I do use this. This is for documents. Nice, right? And you don't even know it's there, but it's sitting in your shelf, but all your stuff is there, and you're ready to go. You can just grab your book and run, and you get all your stuff and you put it in there. No one's going to take because they don't know what it is. You know, it's like if this was sitting there, some person would say, "Oh, I got to take that." But if this was sitting in the bookshelf, nobody would really notice and they'd bypass it. So, but getting all your documents together, whatever it is, it could be your driver's license, an extra one, social security card, your passport, your birth certificates, pet records. You know, pet records, people never really think about that, but prove it. You know, it's like, oh, do I have to prove that? Like, yeah, do they have this, that, whatever? Because people are going to go stupid. Insurance documents, your account numbers, passwords. Some people have so many different things that they can't even remember nothing. Your cash should be part of your destination stash. And when I say that is because when not if, but when the grid goes down, people are not going to be able to get cash out of the ATMs or nothing. That's already happened in Texas. The grid went down, they couldn't get anything, and people were scrambling. So cash should be part of your stash so that you have it. And I know people are pushing gold, and I know people are pushing silver and all those wonderful things, but if I gave you a bullion of gold, how would you give me change? Exactly. Right? So you got to think about what you're doing. Cash should be part of your stash. Once you get into crisis mode and you've pulled all your stuff, you can put it in a fanny pack or one of these money belt things and have it on you and have that be part of your artillery. So when you're going, it's all on you. So you're not carrying this, but you know all your stuff is safe here. So when you get ready to go, you can transfer it into something like this so that it's on your body and you're not carrying something heavy. Make sense? And then getting some other tools. Screwdrivers and things like that are really important. No one ever thinks to get that, but you get these little keys and they're not going to stab you in your pockets and do things to you. This shower is an old shower head. You see how old that is? See this tip right here? That would fit on anything. It's not a screw on it. It would just pop on. Remember those from back in the 60s and 70s? It's a little mini crowbar would be really good as another tool, so you're not busting the things that you have because you've got to pry something open or get into something. Just a mini crowbar. They make little guys that you can put right in your pack and make that way you have that tool. And of course, a headlight, that's always good. This is really good. Moleskin is good if that's what you get, but then this is really good. It helps. That you need. Have the grid. So there's no perfect bug out bag, people. It's you. It's going to be according to you I'm just giving you ideas here. I've given you solutions and different things that you can look. I have my bag. It changes all the time. I've got different things in it now than when I first started with my bag. It's like, oh, this would be good. I know this would be good. Start thinking outside the box, because when you start thinking outside the box, you'll start doing stuff differently so that you are prepared and ready to go. Hang in there. This is not your current situation, is not your final destination. We're all in this together. We're all working together. We are here to help one another. I'm going to show you some of these prices and what they, but not knowing what's in it is one thing. It's powdered peanuts, there's sugar in it and different things that you just don't know what's in it. So we're going to go buy freeze-dried food or buy something because it's there, but we don't know what's really in it and what are they doing to stabilize it and how is that working for you. So let's learn how to make it yourself. Here we have, you can see the prices of this. Here is 17. Here are powdered potatoes, 19. Scrambled eggs are 32. You've got your powdered egg, 35. Here's some chocolate milk, 16. We've got the apples and the oatmeals and different. Here's some potato shreds for $8. Here's all the dehydrators, huh? Does. But they don't tell you that. They tell you that the freeze-dried stuff is the one to get. And so they're pushing freeze-dried stuff when we know that dehydrated food lasts as long and it doesn't have all the junk in it. And you can be controlling what you're doing, and you've got to keep it dry. It's the gamma bucket lids and pound it on there and it seals it. You're paying a lot for the bucket, and then you get in your sugar. Well, you can go get the sugar that you like to use, put it in one of those white buckets and put the sealed lid on it for way cheaper than what they're doing here. You can do it yourself and make it work for you and not pay the pipe piper this and do it at your leisure. So I've got buckets that I use and different things, and when something's on sale, I'll go get it and I add it to my bucket. Here's the honey. This honey is quite interesting. Let's see what's in it. Honey, powdered cane sugar, honey, and fructose. Honey doesn't ever go bad. They've proven honey in the ancient tombs that it's all good. Honey never goes bad. So why would you do that for $15? Right? It's crazy. But the people don't know. So we're giving awareness here that you don't have to go do that. We're smart enough to be able to dehydrate. And then this one here just blew me away. $110 for this bucket of freeze-dried and dehydrated vegetables. Freeze-dried and dehydrated. That's a lot of money, and people aren't understanding that. They don't get it. But they'll pay it because they're in panic mode and they're hiking the prices up constantly. So you need to have your world food back up. Sure, it is a process. So a dehydrator, we all know dehydrator, you put the food in it, dries it, you cut it and do whatever you want to, add seasonings or whatever you want to do. A freeze dryer freezes it to a dryness into a hard block. So and it takes quite a long time. And the machines are hugely expensive and the trays are very tiny. So you're putting all your stuff in there, you're freeze drying it, you just add water and then the food comes back to the way it was before. So a friend of mine is really into freeze drying, so she's constantly freeze drying different things. It costs more. You have to have an oil for it. It does all the stuff, and it's a lot more expensive to do. A lot more expensive. And the stuff comes out like a hard block. When dehydrating, it comes out hard and crisp, or it comes out pliable or whatever. But when you're freeze drying, you can freeze dry ice cream. It comes out like a hard chalk block. Just, I'd rather dehydrate. I've had a freeze dryer, and I just think dehydrating is so much easier. So get your back up, do something today. This is actually corn. I have 4 dehydrators going on in my house at all times. I have 7 dehydrators. So they're constantly going, and I'm always doing something because I know something's going down, and I know that we're all going to get smacked around, and I'm trying to help people. So this is my little tiny home, and it's on my property. Tom has stayed in that. It's been painted, upgraded, and ready to go. I'm actually using this as a dehydrating vacation, a 4-day class I'm going to be doing where I'll be preparing your food for you, dehydrating. The dehydrators will be going constantly, and everything that we dehydrate together, you will take home. I want people to have their stash. It's so important to me. I can't even tell you how important that is to me. Like I said, when I drove in the city and I saw the matrix and the people, they're so numb to what's going on around them. They have no clue. It hurts my spirit. It makes me very sad to see so many people oblivious to what's going on. And we're smart enough to get out of this situation and take a look at what's going on. So if you know anybody that's interested, please let me know. I do all sorts of stuff. I have dehydrated, you name it, I dehydrate it. If it can fit my dehydrator, I'll try it. So I've done all sorts of stuff, and I've created things that have been quite interesting, and I season stuff differently, and I'm actually here in the valley taking advantage of being here because the mushrooms that you guys had created, I'm here to pick those up because they make great snacks in the dehydrator. And I'm coming in to get as many as I can to take home from all the Asian markets. And then I'm going home to dehydrate all of them. Because when the meat is gone and people, that's all they want is meat, meat, meat. And mushrooms are a good substitute, right? You dehydrate and rehydrate it. It's amazing. People are like, wait a minute, what is that? So there's a lot that I do and I want to teach and help people. So I'm actually going to do a 4-day class where I'll give you one-on-one training, lodging, meals will be included. You will come on my acreage and go hiking, and where things are in the dehydrator and they're full, we'll go out and do stuff. Maybe go to the store and buy things together. I'm doing a class. If you know anyone that's interested that would like to do a staycation and then we work our booties off and then they take everything home, I'm looking for that person. The more people that we help that they can get their stuff started and ready to go, the happier those people will be. They'll be part of the solution instead of part of the problem where nobody has anything going for themselves. Getting out of the matrix is the most important thing you can possibly do for yourself. Whether you drive somewhere and go sit at the lake and breathe the fresh air and get out there in the sunshine and go for a hike or do whatever, you need to get out and do something. Get out of the concrete jungle. Get out and do something different for yourself because it's really, really important. I have in my possession wheat. I would like to show this to you. This wheat, how much do you think this was? It's a bucket of wheat. Okay, anyone else? This actually is white wheat, 24 pounds. Okay, this bucket of wheat was $40. Okay, this bag of wheat is 50 pounds right here. How much do you think this bag of wheat costs? 50 pounds. How much? Close, it was $20. It makes a difference where you buy stuff. And this is the stuff you'll learn with me.
Oh, I thought you put it in that.
No, this bucket was $40 and it's 24 pounds. This bag I got at the feed store, same wheat, it's 50 pounds for $20. Makes a difference. So if you're going to go and you're going to buy stuff, you can leave that in its seed form until you're ready to use it. It will be fine as long as you keep it dry. When you grind, it's going to change its composition and it has an opportunity to collect bugs, weevils, and whatever. Your diatomaceous earth You can actually add that to your flour and things like that. And what ends up happening, it keeps the weevils and the beetles and everything out of your flour. Did you know that? So those are the things that I teach you because it's important. We don't want to go buy a bunch of stuff because it's going to be infested. And so there's ways to fix that and then to store it. I do all of my dehydrated fruits, I keep them in gamma vaults. If you go to Costco's twice a year, springtime and I think at fall, they have in the pet department these gamma vaults they sit kind of weird and they're pretty big. They're 60 pounders. And they're just empty plastic gammas, and the lids spin on and spin off, and they seal. They got the gamma seal on them. I put all of my stuff in those gamma vaults, and they stack. Because the lids, when you take a lid like this on and off, you got to pound it on and pound it off. It's hard to get on. It hurts the hands. The gamma vaults don't do that. It's spinners. So those are some things that you'll learn. Also, pasta never goes bad. You can always have pasta. It doesn't ever go bad. Dried beans, same thing. And I'm going to talk about the beans. We did some beans, and I've got stuff that I'm going to give away, and everything I'm going to talk about here, I will share with you. But this is what I have my drawing for, is I made all these little bags of dehydrated food, and I'll pick one up. This is mixed vegetables, and this one is going to, Tom. This is yours, Tom. This is mixed vegetables.
Is there mixed vegetable? Is there any correlation there, or what?
It's mixed vegetables, and I seasoned it.
With meat.
Oh, because you're Looney
A
Tune?
little bit mixed.
Yeah, you're a little
Okay,
Looney. Hey, we're good. just making sure. Okay, bananas, Sally. These are banana chips that I made. Marianne, strawberry. So all of these things I just pretty much sliced and put out there. Those particular bananas I didn't season, but the ones that you ate at the potluck, they actually had cinnamon on them. Make it taste more like banana bread. Lori. Was the restroom? She's gone? Oh, okay. Zucchini. These are out of my garden. Austin. I grew these.
I just picked my first garden zucchini today.
Yay! So this is cheesy broccoli. What I did is I rolled the broccoli in nutritional yeast so that it would be seasoned. So when I'm ready to do it, then it would be ready to go. I always season stuff, and this is Philip. Yay! We'll give this one away because they're not here. So, Mary Russo. This is hash browns. All you have to do with this dehydrated stuff is just add water back to it. So these are yours. If you're going to dehydrate potatoes or hash browns, if you get them from the store or whatever, make sure there's no oil in them. Anything with oil is going to go rancid. If you're dehydrating stuff and you're not going to eat it right away, do not use oil. Your stuff will change on you. And you'll learn that. Okay, we have Susan. Oh, good. This is cabbage. I dehydrate it, like I said, everything. And the last one is the beans. And this is Krista. So these beans I did a class here before. These are, this particular one are the little spiced up a little bit with liquid smoke. I put that on there just to see what different it would do. And then I added, these are pinto with vegetables. You'll notice there's flakes of vegetables in it. And I cut them all up together and then dehydrate it. You can dehydrate just about anything. I'm going to confess to that because I do. Because I'm constantly experimenting because our food, we love food. Don't we love food? Food is amazing. And we want to be able to have different flavors. And even if you have dehydrated food, what if you don't have the spices? It's nice to have it already on the food so that when you eat it, it brings out the flavor in it, and then you don't have to worry about spicing it. So salt always, we learned in culinary school that salt always brings things together and brings the flavor out. So I'm always adding salt to stuff, and then I'm always adding different types of things to recreate stuff that we're used to eating, and then making sure I can put it into the food and then dehydrate it. And I'm always experimenting. So pretty much that's it. There's some, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer those questions for you. No? We'll get to that. Yeah, there's just some other things. We're good.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.